Welcome to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 67 of The Joy of Coding. 67. My name is Mike Conley. We're going to be doing some stuff on Firefox today. We're going to be hacking around. We're going to be looking at stuff. We're going to be fixing bugs. And it's going to be a good time. So, let's get into it. Let me show you my screen. 1 second. Hang on. I'm a little disorganized. I apologize. Switching to my screen. Bam, there we go. Okay. And here are my notes. So today is August 10th. And for the people who are new, maybe you haven't seen this stream before, this agenda is a very loosely termed agenda. I kind of know what I want to do today. I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get through it all. Things might go wrong. I might add stuff. I might remove stuff. I might get sidetracked. That's okay. The way I like to say it is no plan survives breakfast. That's why I say it at the top here. But I have kind of a roadmap, and if you want to follow along, especially if you want to click on any of these links to figure out what's going on, or if you want to join us in the chat and you want to, click on this easy to use, IRC client for your browser or any of these other bits, this agenda is actually available to you. If you scroll down, if you're watching this on Air Mozilla, to the additional links section, there should be a link to this agenda. And if you're watching this on YouTube or something, then it should be in the video description, something like that. And then you can click these links. And as I add stuff and it synchronizes, then hopefully, I think you just reload the page and it will have the changes in line. Or the changes will be there. Okay, so what are we doing today? Great question. So I know last week I talked about doing going back to Better Know a Gecko. I'd been looking at service worker stuff. I said I was going last week. I postponed the second part because I wanted to focus on some high priority bugs, and I did that. And I said I'd postpone the next section of Better Know a Gecko to this week. Well, I'm postponing it one more time. I'm 90% certain we'll continue it next week if that's a thing you care about. But this week, I have a couple other bugs I want to get into. So you're just going to have to wait. If the service worker exploration stuff was really interesting to you, you're just going to have to wait one more week. It's a cliffhanger. We'll find out more next week. But what are we doing today? So first of all, an update. Last week, that high priority bug where the select events weren't firing in the right order, I was able to figure out, I was able to extract the parts that we needed, and I got what we needed into a patch that is going to roll out in a 48.0.1 release, so that's going out soon-ish. I also got patches approved for beta and Aurora. Excuse me. And so the fix should be in a build near you soon. It's already fixed in Nightly, and soon it will be fixed in beta and Aurora.
Oh, yeah.
So what else are we going to do today? Well, I actually haven't put the thing I was just working on in the agenda, but I'd like to address that first. I've got this there's this really silly patch, or silly, not patch. There's this really silly bug where here, I'm going to create a note. I already have a note for it. I'm going to put the note for it in the agenda so you can follow along. Whoopsie daisy. So I want the bug title. I want the link to the bug, and then the link to the notes. And then I'll bump up the font, and then I'll show you what's going on. So this is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to synchronize. If you've got the notes open, the agenda open, and you want to get a link to this bug, you can go ahead and refresh the page on the agenda and go there now. So what are we doing? What is this bug? Well, let me demonstrate it for you. I have a patch, actually. I have a patch that fixes it, I think. And I'm going to show you the changes without the patch. Or show you the behavior without the patch. The behavior is thus. Oh, shoot. Shoot. Didn't mean to do that. Oh no. I didn't update. Ah, damn it. I didn't update that I didn't mean to do. Hang on. HG up HG diff, and then what happened here? HG update R central conflicts. Shoot. I need to like output the. I can't stand this problem. HG resolve. So what happened was I forgot to commit some changes, and then I used HG update, giving it a particular revision number, and it tried to merge my current uncommitted stuff, which isn't great. I wish it would just like warn me. Session store.jsm. I'm actually not going to resolve that. I'm going to revert everything. Revert all. I'm going to resolve mark browser component sessions store.jsm. So like my actual patch now is in this file diff. I just have to like drop these changes in. It's a little annoying, but let me go ahead and do that in a second. So if I build this, let me bump up the font again and make sure you can see what I'm typing and what's going on. Okay. Here's the scenario. Suppose I have a browser, or maybe we'll even see it right now. No, we didn't see it. So here's the bug. Suppose I'm at mozilla.org. I've got this one tab open. Maybe I have a second tab open and it's like at About Home or something. But I've got the first tab selected. When the browser starts up, I'm going to do a restart here. When the browser starts up, if the first browser is supposed to be remote, but it's not oh shoot, did I not build? I didn't build properly. I did build. What? Hang on a second. I had this reproducing. Hold on. My understanding of this bug is just melting right now. Mock build everything. And there shouldn't be like there should be no changes on top of the repository. It's kind of a racy bug, which is maybe why we're not seeing it. I was seeing it pretty consistently before. I'm just gonna do a full-blown build just to be sure. Okay. You know what it is? It might be because I need to use... Like I was able to reproduce it before using my default profile. So let me do that. I'm going to close down my default profile and open that instead of my E10S profile. Yeah, this is the bug where like for some reason the tab crashes. If the initial tab is what's selected in the session, then it will crash. And why it crashes, I'm only kind of understanding why that is, but I know what's causing us to like I know why the initial tab is where the problem is, although I don't know why the problem exists. So what's happening is whenever the browser restores a window, like we landed that patch I worked on a long time ago, or not a long time ago, but like I was working on it for a long time. And if you were watching, you remember the initial browser being remote in new windows. Well, when we restore a window, like the very first window, or even other windows, but I think the very first window is the one that's important. If the initial tab is supposed to be if the initial tab is supposed to be selected, we restore the window, but for a silly logic reason, like a silly reason in the session store code that I modified that I did incorrectly. Even though we're loading that stuff immediately in that selected initial tab, we first flip that initial tab to non-remote, and then we put it back into the remote state. And what that does, like there's this very quick shutdown of a content process for that initial tab, and it happens so early on. Like the communications pipeline drops so early on in the whole browser setup process that the parent interprets that communications shutdown as abnormal and causes a crash event to fire. Now, I don't know exactly why that is. Something to do with like how things start up, especially like the IPC channels and stuff. But one way around that is to make sure that we don't flip the remoteness of anything that's going to be restored very soon. Like if something's going to be restored in like either immediately or in the very near future, we should not flip a browser to non-remote. Um, and because I mean there's performance problems. I mean it's wasted work, and it also allows us to avoid this weird problem. So I wrote a patch to do that, and I got it almost right, but then I ended up failing some tests, and so I wrote a new patch, or a patch on like I modified it a little bit more. Um, Diff. Here's our diff. Um, and I have to now manually drop this stuff in because I'm a fool. Um, so I've made some modifications, and now I want to put it up for review, but I want to test it first. So what I did was I added this like, oh, will restore. I'd made these changes. Working copy should restore immediately. That's this. Oh, that's already in there. Not force on demand, tab restore. That's in there as well. And maybe browser, maybe update. So this is what's different. Maybe update browser remoteness should be like this. Should take that stuff. But otherwise it's the same, right? Should restore immediately, not force on demand. And should restore immediately is restore immediately, or tab browser, it's the selected browser, or there are load arguments. And if we're not restoring immediately and not forcing it to be on demand, then we add it to the tab restore queue. And then we maybe, oh, yeah, I got rid of this thing. I moved it. That's the change I made. Tab restore queue add, and then I call tab browser tab should restore immediately. So that's the change I made there. And then the other one was down here. Maybe, sorry, you can't see the bottom of that, can you? Maybe update browser remoteness. It was down here, so I changed the stuff in this function. And then I changed it so that we pass the tab browser and the tab, but not the browser. Whoops. That's duplicated. The tab browser in the tab, and then whether or not it will restore, but I changed will restore to should restore immediately. I'm gonna put that, I think, on the next line. So I'm just redoing all this work because that was silly. Should restore immediately. And then I change this comment. I put it after I got rid of the note that pin tabs are exempt. Restore items. Normally when a window is restored, the tabs. No, normally. Oh. Yeah, that's the difference normally. And then like. So that's all the same. I say this. I think that's right. That's what we ended up wanting. Okay. So maybe update browser remoteness takes should restore immediately, because if the tab is restoring immediately, then we definitely don't want to flip the remoteness, but then we also check to see if it's going to restore soon. If so, it will restore, and if it's a remote browser that will not soon restore, then we flip the remoteness. Okay, and then I think that'll work. And what I want to do is write tests for all of this, because it is kind of tricky stuff, and it's easy to get it wrong, obviously. So let's make sure that that fixes the problem again. I'm going to load my default browser profile. Whoops. Redeclaration. I got something wrong. 3651. 3651. I saw that in the error log. A redefinition of browser. Ah. So we're supposed to be passing tab. That's why. Yeah. See, all right, now it loads. And I'm gonna shut it down and do it again just to be sure. Good, does not crash. Okay, so now what I want to do is commit this, so I don't have to go through that again. And then I'm going to want to run the tests. Then I'm going to push it up for review, but I'm also, after I do that, I'm going to write some tests to go on top of it. So let's run the tests. The first suite of tests are the session store ones. Now this is a pain if you remember, like these tests will take about 2 minutes. Sorry about that, but we're gonna have to watch these go. Whoa, lights just turned on in here. I guess I'm moving around enough that I triggered the auto motion sensor. Whoops, I needed to say Moki test. So what I'm gonna do, and the reason I turned the lights off is because I didn't want you to see this hole in my head and in my hand. Now maybe I could tweak the green screen settings. I know Richard had talked about that. Like, look at this. Whoa. I'm just trying to distract you while the test runs, but I'm actually going to turn the light back off. So hold on a second. And you get to watch sweet, sweet test runs. You can actually, the light switch isn't that far away. I can keep my headset on. You can hear me off screen. All right. Now I'm back. Now I'm back and the lights are off and the test is running. What do you say?
I can't do my work.
So what's the plan? Let's think about the plan after this. First of all, I'm going to run this suite of tests. Then I'm going to run it with eTNS disabled. So I'm going to have to do all this again. Then I'm going to run some URL bar tests. Then I'm going to push it up for because I was failing the URL bar tests before, and my recent changes I think fix it. Then I'm going to push it up for review, and while I'm waiting for review, then I'm going to um, work on some tests. So let's think about what kind of tests we want to do. Basically, I want to have a window and give it some remote tabs, and then like restore some state into into that window so that it overwrites those tabs, and like maybe we'll do one where like just the first tab is remote, um, or maybe all of them are remote. Like I think what we can do is have like some static state that we restore each time. Um, um, but it might have a different selected index or something. And what we should end up with is a single browser, the selected browser being remote, and all of the other ones being non-remote in the background, regardless of what we started with. Um, so this test is almost done. Then I'm gonna run it in. So I can't like pull focus. I don't. That pauses the test. Unfortunately, running these tests like monopolizes my machine, like this. It'd be really nice if there was like an X server or something I could blast it to, but there isn't. At least I don't know how to do that. Maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way I can run a VNC server or something and send all of these to that different display. I don't know. I'm able to do such a thing on Linux, I believe, um, but no such luck on OS X. Okay, so those tests all passed. That's great. Oh no. Uncaught exception. Where is that from? Is that does that happen very often? XBL, load frame script, caught exception. Shoot. Now I have to look into this. What is this? Is this like um, a known like intermittent or something? Let's look at that first. I'll bet this is gonna crash because of my bug. Bam, yep. That's the bug in the wild. Ah, okay. Remote browser, intermittent browser child resource. These are intermittent. They just got filed last month. Get out of here. Um, which test is this? Browser. Are any of these under session store? Nope, not that one. And then this one, browser child resource. That one's under network, so this is a new one. Oh no. Let's run it again. Let's run this whole thing again, unfortunately. And then we crashed. Look at this. Process crash. Can't process dump. What's happening here? All right, I'm gonna run it again, but this time I'm also going to um, put the output somewhere. Um, I'm gonna like put the logging output in like log raw um, then like test log.log. All right, let's see. Before we let that continue, let's make sure that's working. Test log. Nope, that's not what I want. I want like tbpl. Maybe that's what I want. Log tbpl test log.log. And I'll shut it down again. Vim test log. Yeah, that's what I want. All right, do it. Here we go. Fix one thing, another thing breaks. That's software. It just means that I don't. Maybe there's something I'm not understanding. It's also possible this is just an intermittent that is seen periodically. Um, maybe it's not my problem, but maybe it definitely is. Let's see what goes on. Not in the close. Oh, I ruined it by switching focus. Hold on, let me do that again. Sorry. I wanted to see what was in the error log, but I was too impatient. Okay, so let's talk about testing again. So I'm going to have some kind of browser state with the first tab selected, or maybe just some kind of browser state, and then I can dynamically choose which browser I want to have like which tab I want to have selected. And then I'm going to have like all these different scenarios where like some tabs are remote and some are not. The first tab's remote. There's only one tab. There's a bunch of tabs. That sort of thing. I'm going to restore this state into each of those like initial windows, and then check that only the selected browser is remote. And maybe pinned tabs. I should probably do a pinned tab state. Um, and I should probably do one where like all the tabs are supposed to be loaded by default. They'll load immediately. So I'll add a whole new bunch of tests. This is probably going to take up the next hour. So I'm not actually going to be able to get to that other thing. Now I assume that I'll be able to get to that test. Here's hoping, because if I'm causing a crash now, that's a whole different problem, and I need to understand that. Almost there. You know when like I've learned to read these tests and know when I'm almost done by like whenever you see all the rainbow colors for the container tab stuff show up, and I think that's coming up next. You just see a bunch of tabs open. They all have like different colored headers, like at the very top. I think they're coming up soon. And then it's like this beautiful like sprawl of these colorful tabs. Come on, where are you? What's going on here? Come on. Let's get this done. Let's go. Let's go. I'm sorry to make you wait. I'm sorry that we're just sitting here, but like this is kind of a reality. Um, if I was working on this in my Linux VM, I guess I could switch away from the VM and like do other stuff. Here we go. Colored tabs. Colored tabs. Bam. There's a bunch. There's some more. That's beautiful. That's how you know we're almost done. Okay, and then we shut down properly. We did not crash, so I think it's an intermittent. Maybe it's one that hasn't been filed yet. Maybe I accidentally moved it around. So test log.log session store.jsm. Any like error messages that I need to valid window? So that was expected. There's like a bunch of should it throw. Message yeah, okay. So I think we're okay there. I'm gonna run the test again, this time with eTNS disabled. This should all still work. And then I'll do the URL bar tests. Then I'm gonna push it up for review and also kick off a try build to run the tests multiple times on like all different platforms and stuff. I mean, it should all be the same, but like we should make sure. And then for the then what we're gonna do is sorry. My brain fell apart there for a second. So then we're gonna write the test. We're gonna write the test and a bunch of tests. Like I think it's a whole suite. Let's list them out. State, we're restoring a state. It can be just sort of like a, it doesn't matter what the state is so long as there are like a couple of tabs in it and one of them is selected. But we have to be able to choose which one's selected. And then, let's see. We start with just the base case, which is one tab, one tab, not one tab remote, and then we'll do one tab, but we'll force it to be not remote, and then we'll do a tab, just several tabs where like some are remote, some are not remote. We'll do one where all of them are remote. We'll do one where none of them are remote. Then we'll do some with pinned tabs. And then we'll do ones where we restore immediately. All separate. I think that's how I want to go. Almost done. In the meantime, let's play some sounds.
Oh, yeah.
What else we got? Like that one. All right, passed our test. That's great. That's great news. Let's see. So we can put this up for review. That's the plan. We put this up for review. And then we trigger a try build. I think I had a try build yesterday. Like I can use the same try syntax. This one. $74.50. All right. Here we go. Background tab. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to update this. Is going to have true if the tab is going to have its content restored immediately by the caller. That's slightly different. Should restore immediately. It might start restoring its content very soon. Restore the content immediately. Or the tab set up so the tab is going to be restored. So the tab content is going to be restored in the very near future. Will soon be loading content. It happens to be remote. We need to flip back. We're going to normal is restored. Is there's no remote? Okay. I think that makes more sense. Should restore immediately. And I should mention that I've got some tests coming as well. Come on, come on, come on. What's the holdup? And then we'll look at the interdiff. Look at the interdiff here. Should just be, yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to comment that I'm going to add some tests. Just a note that I'm going to be adding some tests in another commit on top of the one that I've just requested review on. Okay. So, oh yeah, we want to do a try build. So try build, I'll copy that try syntax, review summary, trigger try build. So that's happening. And then, okay, test writing time. And then I'll need to do another try build with the with that test, with those tests, I should say. So where are we gonna add these tests? Or we're gonna put them. This is like a session store thing, so it's gonna go into browser, components, session store, and then I'm gonna say test under here. I'm gonna say browser, new file. I'm gonna call it browser remote remoteness flip on restore. Okay, that's what I'm going to call it. Browser remoteness flip on restore. And then I'm going to add that to the browser.ini list. Browser remoteness flip on restore.js. and we're only going to run it if we have E10S enabled. And so a new test I'm adding. Great. So a new test, we're going to use strict, and we're going to add a task. Well, first of all, what does this suite test? This set of tests checks that for that the remoteness state is properly set for each browser in a window when remoteness is properly set for each browser. So for each browser in a window when that window has session state loaded into it. Okay. And that also means that we want to make sure that there aren't any unnecessary remoteness flips. Like, how many remoteness flips do we expect? So how do we want to design this? Basically, I want to be able to describe a window, like a starting set of tabs in particular remoteness states. I want to describe a state that we want to overwrite with, and then a particular selected tab, and then I want to describe which tabs we expect to be remote, or which tabs we expect to be remote, and if there are any tabs that we expect remoteness flips from, I think. Is that right? Because yeah, if we have a whole bunch of remote browsers and we restore state, we should expect all the background ones to flip remoteness. Okay. And we fire events for that remoteness flip, so we can do that kind of detection. But it sounds like this is very complicated structures that we're talking about here. Well, what kind of API? I'm trying to remember. Session Store itself has like an API for set window state. Yeah, set window state. And so there should be a test or two that we can use as an example. Set window state, set window state. Test, test, test. Here we go. Test state. Test state. So here's some examples. Windows. Test state. Set window state is test state. We're sure that's not setting a browser state. Set window state. Because it's got like all these closed tabs and then Windows. Why is that Windows? Let's look at another one. Window state. Alright. Why would it have multiple windows? Maybe we should look at what set window state has for its documentation. Session store. Set window state. The save state to apply to a specific window. Great. So this is the sort of state I'm talking about here. Initial state. And then like, is there a way you can say which one's selected? Set window state, set window state. Like if I look at this Windows state, session store, get Windows state, window. I got Windows 1, this array, json.parse, and create this object. And there's one element in that array. And it's got, okay, a selected, the number of closed tabs, whether it's busy, the width, the size mode, and any cookies. I don't know, what cookies? I don't want to look at those right now. All right. Tabs, and selected. So the selected part is the dynamic bit. Const or hang on, function get get test state. And what does set window state take? Does it take a string? Set window state. Yeah, it's a string. Function prepare state. Initial state selected. So takes a session store window state object, sets the selected tab for it, and then returns the object serialized as a string to be passed to session store set window state. Param initial state object. The initial state, or maybe it's just called state. The state to prepare to be sent to a window, and then param selected int the index of the selected int the one based index of the selected that's so annoying. The one based index of the selected tab. Note that if this is 0, then the tab will not change from its initial selection. Well, then the window selection, initially the tab that is selected in the window that we're sending state to will not change. Then the tab will not change from what's already selected in the window that we're sending state down to. State 2. Okay, and that returns string. The JSON encoded string, JSON encoded string to call set window state. Okay. So what we'll do is state.selected equals selected, return JSON stringify state object. What we really want to do is not like we want to like clone the object. Shoot. How did other tests do this? Windows state. JavaScript object clone. I think there's like a cheap way of doing, like, this isn't, I think object assign is probably the easiest way. Object.assign. Test. Object.assign. Just copy the target object, and then the source object. Copy equal object.assign copy state. We'll create a copy so that we don't accidentally modify the caller's selected property. And it was selected, right? State Windows. Selected, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what is it? What is the current state? Should be selected as 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's correct. 1 indexed. Crazy. Return JSON stringify copy. 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 Okay. And then let's see, const, or let's say like, yeah, consts. Test states equals, and then an array. Oh, this is going to be complicated. The array where like the Windows initial browsers initial remoteness, it'll be like true, false, or something. State to restore some state, and then expected remoteness. False, true, false, or whatever. Like, I think something like that will work. Expected. Expected flips. True, false, false. We should have one flip. Okay, so the schema for, what are we testing here? Test various initial browser test various pre-existing, no, take that if we restore state to a browser window, to particular browser windows, to browser windows with a variety of initial remoteness states that we only flip the remoteness on the necessary tabs. The schema for this testing structure is as follows. Initial remoteness, an array that represents what the starting window, what represents the starting window. Or maybe I should do it like this. Array that represents the starting window for each element in the array, each bool in the array represents a tab, and a true indicates that that tab should be remote, false if the tab should be not remote, non-remote. And then, let's see, state to restore. A JS object for the state to send down to the window. And then we will want like selected tab, something like that. Down to the window. Selected tab. The one based index of the selected tab of the tab that we want to select once the window want to select for the restored window. Leave this at 0 if you don't want to change the selection from the initial state, window state. Initial selected tab. The one based index of the tab you want to select. This is one based to avoid confusion with the selected tab property described down below. But a 0 is described down below. Though you probably want this to something other than 0. To describe below. Though you should describe this though you probably want to set this because the initial window needs to have a defined initial selected tab. The test will throw if initial selected tab is 0 because of this. The test will throw if this initial selected tab is 0. State to restore. Selected tab. Expected flips. An array that represents the window that represents the window that we end up with after restoring state. Each bool in the array represents a tab, and a true indicates that the tab should have flipped its remoteness once. False indicates that the tab should never have flipped remoteness. Note that any tab that flips its remoteness more than once will cause a test failure. And then, because like, why would you do that more than once? And then expected remoteness. Array that represents one of the animal after restoring each bool in the array represents a tab, and a true indicates that the tab should be remote. And a false indicates that the tab should be non-remote. The window tabs in order. A true, that's important, in order. A lot of documentation. That's how I'm thinking about making this test happen. Represents the window tabs in order. True indicates that the tab should have flipped its remoteness once. Here we go. Hopefully this works out. This is a lot of documentation for me to bail on this idea. Writing the documentation like this helps me like conceive of the test too. I mean, things are probably going to go wrong, but it represents the window tabs in order. A true indicates the tab should be remote. False, the tab should be non-remote. For the schema, so this testing structure lets us test a number of scenarios. This testing array, this array of testing structures allows us to test a number of scenarios for a window restoration. Okay, let's code the simple one. Simple case. Initial browser is remote. Only one browser, only one tab in the new window, and it's remote. This is the common case, since this is how restoration occurs when a new window, the restored window, is being opened. Initial remoteness 1, true initial selected tab 1, state to restore Let's come up with some state. Set Windows state. There's probably some good stuff in here I could crib. Yeah. State restore. Tabs. Entries. Example.com. They're all going to go to example. Selected. We'll make the third one selected. Oh yeah, selected. 3. I'm actually going to extract this. Probably just use like simple 3. Const simple 3 remote tabs equals. Maybe there's a better name for that, but I don't know what it is yet. And the reason I'm doing this is so that I can maybe use this structure again and again. Maybe I'll call this like scenario 1. Select a tab, we're going to select the third one. So the way we expect it to go is because, oh, and the lights turned on again because I moved so much. The first tab is remote, and it's what's selected. We're going to state to restore. We're going to restore that state. We're going to select the third tab, this one, and then what should happen is the first one should flip, the other two should not flip. Oh, the first one should flip, the third one should also flip because the third one is selected. And the expected remoteness should be false, false, true. We expect the first tab, because the initial tab is remote and should go into the background state. The third tab is new and, oh, it shouldn't flip at all, is new and should be created remotely, and therefore created and should be initialized remote. Only the selected tab should be remote. Is there any case, like maybe this is only the selected tab should be remote. Oh, app tabs. We have to consider app tabs. Or pinned tabs. Selected tab should be remote. We need this structure in case we decide this array in order to test pinned tabs, which will also be loaded by default and therefore should end up remote. So initial remoteness, that's our first, okay, so don't want to do too many of these. For let state of test states, test state. I know it's a mixture of camel case and underlines, but because this is all caps. Test state of test states. We're going to open a window. Let win equals yield browser test utils, open new browser window. gbrowser equals win dot let browser equal win dot gbrowser. Or I'll call it tab browser. Win dot gbrowser. Assert okay. Tab browser selected browser is remote browser. The initial browser should be remote. Now put the window into the expected initial state. For let remoteness of test state dot initial remoteness for let I equals 0, I is less than test state initial remoteness dot length plus plus I. And then if I equals 0, this is the first tab which doesn't need to be added. Tab browser to update browser remoteness. Or if I is not equal to 0, this is everything except the first. The window starts with one tab, so we need to create any of the ones additional ones required by this test. If I is greater than 0, tab browser, add tab. We're going to send it to about blank. We're going to make it remote. So tab browser, pretty sure add tab. Or you know what? I think we have a browser test utils. Add tab. Open new foreground tab. Browser stop, wait for new tab, wait for new window, load UI. Window closed, wait for event, synthesize mouse, remove tab, crash tab, send char. Open new foreground tab. Opening. Are there any options? Add tab. Opening. Okay. It's required by this test. Yield, browser, test utils, open new foreground tab. And then we say tab browser. And does this resolve with the tab? Yes, it does. Let tab. Let tab equals I greater than 0. Yield browser test utils. Tab browser selected tab. Otherwise, it's yield that. You know, that's kind of hard to read. So we'll do it this way. Let tab. If I is greater than 0, then tab equals tab browser selected browser. I think that's probably, or selected tab. I think that's probably easier to understand. If let remoteness state equals test state dot initial remoteness I. If so, let browser equals tab dot linked browser. Tab browser to update browser remoteness browser and then remoteness state. So that's going to add all of the tabs and put them in the right state. And then select tab, switch to the tab and resolves when it is ready. Okay. Let tab to select equals tab browser dot tabs test state dot selected initial selected tab -1 yield browser test utils switch tab. So we're going to switch to the right tab. Tab browser and then the tab to select. First, we need to create the initial conditions. So we open a new window to put into our initials, our starting state. And select tab, the requested tab. Okay, time to test. So now that we've we've got the scenario. Let state test states, let Windows state equal prepare state. I've got this word state, test states, test scenarios. Testing. Yeah, that's what I should call instead. Scenario test state. So find replace state with scenario. Okay, Windows state equals prepare state scenario dot state to restore. And now we have this overload on scenario. I'm going to call it state 1. Like simple state. That's what I'll call it. Simple state. So state to restore. Scenario dot selected tab. And now hook up the third tab is new and should be initialized remote. So we expect the first one to flip, the other ones to not flip. So when we do a remoteness flip, update browser remoteness, we fire an event, tab remoteness change, and we dispatch it on the tab. Okay, so we could add an event listener to the window. Okay, hook up an event listener to make sure that the right tabs flip remoteness and only once. So state let flip listener equal it's an event listener that's going to I'll make it an object. And I'm going to say like scene flip, scene tabs. We're going to have a set, new set. And handle event. This.scene tabs add e.target, I think that's what it is. E.initial target and an event dispatch on the event. Yeah, the initial target is the tab. Win.add event listener. And the tab remoteness flip event is called tab remoteness change. And flip listener. Maybe I should do this down here. So we've got our flip listener, and now we restore state. So session store We also have to wait until the whole window is finished restoring. Set window state, and then we pass in the window and the state. Okay. Now that doesn't necessarily happen synchronously, or does it? Yeah, yeah, it should. It should. So I think we don't have to wait, really. Move event listener, tab, remoteness change, listener for let, oh no, scene tabs equals new. If this.scene tabs has e.target, assert false, no, assert okay, false, saw a tab flip remoteness more than once. Else, oh, I guess that's a no op in that case. For let expected flips in scenario dot expected flips. Oh, hang on. Let's make sure our test is sane first. Our scenario is sane. Assert equals, is it equals? Equals, equal, assert dot equal. Scenario dot expected flips, scenario length, scenario dot expected remoteness dot length. We all tabs, all expected flips and remoteness state needs to be supplied. Assert okay scenario dot selected tab greater than 0. You must define an initially selected tab. Oh, not, sorry, that is what it's supposed to be. 0. Okay. Scenario and expected flips. So tab for let I equals 0, I is less than scenario dot expected flips dot length plus I. Expected to flip equals scenario flips I tab equal when tab browser tabs I, and then assert okay flip listener scene tabs has tab we should have seen this tab flip remoteness. If expected to flip. If expected to flip. Else. Assert. Okay. Flip. Listener. Tabs. Assert that it doesn't have the tab. We should not have seen this tab flip remoteness. For let. And now we can actually do, because we know that scenario dot expected flips and scenario dot expected remoteness have the same length, we can check that we satisfied both with the same loop. Expected remoteness equals scenario dot expected remoteness. Assert. Assert equal tab.linked browser.isRemote browser expected remoteness should have gotten the expected remoteness. And then I think that's it. Yield browser test utils close window. Now there's no doubt I haven't tried any of this. There's no doubt something wrong in here. But let's try it out. Mock build, because I added a new test. And we have to reticulate the splines. Okay, now let's try running the test. And it'll almost certainly go wrong, but let's see what happens. Test, browser, and then what's called remoteness flip on restore. Let's see what I got wrong. Yeah, we're missing something. 106. Some syntax problem. Oh yeah, I need a comma here. And that is not doing anything. The initial browser should be remote. Where did I get to? Well, if I is greater than 0, else tab. Info using the selected tab. Info opening a new tab. Using the selected tab. Okay, so we got here, and then we update the remoteness, and then we tab to select. If tab browser dot selected Selected tab is not equal tab to select. Then we need to do this part. Failed. We should have seen the tab flip remoteness. You must define the initial browser should be remote. We should have seen the tab flip remoteness. So we call set window state, right? And what's that doing? Set window state should do the job. Restore windows. I'm going to dump here, restoring a window now. Come on, I really want this to work. And if so, then I'm going to cap the stream there, and then I'll work on writing the other tests off camera, I think. What? So we're not actually calling into this. Oh, you know what? I can pass an object and not a string. That's interesting. Set window state, restore windows. State could actually be an object. Set window state. Calling restore windows. Bailing out. Are we bailing out here? Bailing out at 1. I'm giving them numbers. Dump. Bailing out at 2. Otherwise, we should be restoring a window. What's going on? Let's get this to work. Also, I gotta be careful. I do have a meeting after this, so I don't want to crash into that time. Bailing at 2. We bail out here because there are no windows. Root. Oh, you know what? I think I defined the state wrong. Copy. Selected. State windows. Oh, yeah. Return. I think that'll do it. Not yet. Bailing at 2. Windows. Should be an array, that's why. Okay, so I saw the tabs get flipped properly. We should have seen this tab flip remoteness, but we didn't. We should not have seen this tab flip remoteness. So some remoteness flipping logic is wrong. We should have seen this tab flip remoteness. Should have gotten the expected remoteness. We should have seen this tab flip remoteness. Should have gotten. Now, maybe it's because we have to wait for the tab to finish loading, the browser to finish loading. And I think there is a session, like there's like a head, like a set window state. Should be a way to like, no, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter. That should all be synchronous. So what's going on here? All expected flips must be supplied. You must, yeah. The initial browser should be remote. Yep. Storing a window. We should expect the first tab to flip remoteness, because the third tab is supposed to be expected. Here, let's sleep here. Let's take a look at the window we end up with. Yield sleep. Set timeout, resolve, and let's sleep for 5 seconds. Let's see what the window is that we end up with. We should have the third tab selected, but we don't. We have the first tab selected. That's why we're failing. Am I, again, failing to set the state correctly? Set window state. Have I defined it incorrectly? State string. It's G state object. Ah, come on. Win state. I just need like an example state again. Another one. Test state. Is that one? Here we go. Test state windows. That also takes closed tabs. At the same level as Windows. Oh. What about selected? State dot windows. Oh, selected is supposed to be down there with Windows. Okay. So Windows copy is selected equals selected. So we should end up with a third tab selected. Yep. How'd we do there? We should have seen this tab flip remoteness. We should have seen tab I flip remoteness. We should not have seen tab I flip remoteness. Should have gotten the expected remoteness for tab I. What's going on here? We should have seen tab 0 flip remoteness, but it didn't. we add an event listener. Okay. Restoring a window now. Saw a tab flip remoteness. Tab 1 flip remoteness. Interesting. Expected flips. Should have seen tab 0 flip remoteness. False. Seen tabs. We did not see tab 0 flip remoteness. Saw tab at index flip remoteness. Let index equal tab browser dot how do we get the index of a tab? Index of array index of I guess like tab browser tabs index of e.target, because we're like, when we update browser remoteness, we are firing it on the tab, not the browser, right? Tab remoteness, we dispatch it on the tab. Yeah, tab remoteness change. What's going on here? Tab browser tabs index of is not a function. Shoot, I need to like gbrowser get in index tabs dot what is tabs? Node list array dot from index of. Okay, I need to do that. Is array dot from tabs index of target. Saw tab at index 1 flip remoteness. Saw index 2 flip remoteness. But we didn't see 0 flip remoteness. Why is that? We saw 1 and 2 flip remoteness, but we didn't see 0 flip remoteness. So yeah, that background one should not be loaded. So that's busted there. That's not bustage in the test, that's bustage in session store. And then 1 and 2 are flipping remoteness. Why is that? Tab at index 1 flips remoteness. It started out. We added a new tab. Oh, because it starts. Third tab. initialized. We should go into the background state. The third tab, the second and third tabs are new and should be initialized non-remote. So false, true. Expected remoteness should be false, false, true. So we should have seen tab 0 flip remoteness and we didn't, and we have the wrong remoteness there, and we should not have seen tab 1 flip remoteness, but it did. I don't know why. Like, are we restoring immediately? We're restoring immediately, that's why. We need to restore on demand. Restore on demand. That's what's broken. First window is follow-up overwrite tabs. Restore window. And then we restore the tabs. Restore tab. Dump. Should restore the tab immediately. Should restore immediately. Dump. Will the tab being restored load content soon? Tab restore queue will restore soon. Tab. Build faster. Oh man, I got like a meeting in 6 minutes. I'm gonna have to bail out in just like a minute, but I really want to understand this. Because I think it means that there's something wrong with my patch. Which is good, I'm glad I'm testing it. Should restore the tab immediately, undefined. Will the tab being restored load content soon? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And then false for the third. Really? Like, restore on demand. Where are those tests? How do they work? Session store. Oops. Prepare pending tab. Extra data that we... Oh, you know what? I think it's because we restore on demand. We want it to be true, and then when we're testing, we set it to false. Yeah. Okay. I think I understand now. Is in the testing profile, this is false to begin with. Yeah, right here. Okay, that makes some sense. Yield special push pref env, I think is what I want to do. Push pref env. Yeah, yield special powers push pref env. Set. I guess this. To true. All right, now let's try it again. Whoops. Get pref type, push pref env. Illegal value. Browser set. Oh, and then I have to do that. All right, and then I've got like 1 minute. Hopefully the test pass. Come on. Test pass. Okay, figured it out. Now we can write a whole bunch of tests for like these scenarios. This is great. Okay, good. I might extract some of this out into like a helper function. This is pretty complex stuff. But hey, we're on our way here. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Thank you so much for watching episode 67 of The Joy of Coding. Holy smokes, that was intense, and I got a roll. I got my meeting, but we did some good stuff today. And yeah, I think I'm going to cap it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please click on the link in the agenda. It's also in the video description and stuff to rate the episode. I totally want to hear about what you thought of this episode. Was it good? Was it bad? What'd you think? And I want to know. So thanks for watching. I will see you next week, hopefully with Better Know a Gecko Service Workers Part 2. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Reload sounds.
The joy of coding.
Thanks, bye.